Okay. Now sign in for the second half of the class. Okay. 好，那我们来开始 second half of the class. Okay, for the second half of class, we're going to talk about mobile IP. Okay, now the mobile IP concepts adaptively from the actually fourth and fifth generation of cellular network. Now we said on the fifth generation of cellular network is followed by OSI layer design, right? So you have application presentation, section, transportation, network, data, and physical layer, which inverse, which translate into the application transportation protocol, networking layer, and the wireless open architecture for fifth generation. Now, just in case some of you did not know what it's OSI layer model, I'm going to go through quickly using the 7-layer OSI model's reference. Okay. Now we skip a little bit for the application because the application is on top of application protocol. So mostly we're looking is the presentation. We're starting from the top to bottom. It's the presentation layer and the section layer. Now for the presentation layer and the section layer provide what we call the character code conversion, data encryption, data compression to present to on top of application. For example, HTML, and to the application is a web browser. Now from below the presentation layer, we will have what we call a section layer. Now the section layer is provide what we call a virtual end-to-end messaging service for transportation, which also provide a directory assistant and access rights building information. Okay, so section is kind of like if you write internet protocol, you will have a session manager, all those stuff, and you maintain a session connection between the two devices. Those are maintained in the section layer. This is a standardization, which is not perceived well here, but if you take a look from the application presentation section to actually the transportation layer, they are always inside what we call the operating system, which doesn't have a really standard interface. So if you take operating system class, or you take my operating system class, in the class we talk about different system service for the communication. They was inside the application operating systems. Okay, so now the focus is on the transportation layer and down. Okay, for the network connection. Now. So we said the bottom layer, it's a transportation layer. Now the transportation layer is provide what we call the virtual end-to-end packet piping, okay, between the transportation layer of each other. Okay, the transportation layer is provide the message service for the higher layer. That function, including in the transportation layer, I break the message now into packet. So the packet are break down at the transportation layer, and reassembling the packet to send it up to section. Okay, you also multiplex the section on a send source of direction destination of the nodes to multiplex to different section. You also resequence the packets at the destination, so that when the packet arrive from the networking layer, you reassembling them by resequencing, because we say in a packet network, packet 1, 2, and 3 doesn't have to arrive in a specific order. So you need to reassembling, resequence them at the transportation layer. You also do a recover in any type of residual error or failure. Okay, and the transportation layer, you provide what we call an end-to-end flow control in this layer. Okay. From the transportation layer, you will have a networking layer. So from here, you provide what we call a virtual link layer between the end-to-end packet, virtual link layer between the message, virtual section, and the virtual networking service each. Okay. So the next thing we look is what we call a networking layer. Excuse me. The networking layer is accept incoming packet from the transportation layer and transmit the packet to a lower link layer control. Now, so the router for each of those packets are for an outgoing to a specific. So you can see on the networking layer, you might have a different outgoing link, okay? So typically the networking layer will add its header to the packet receiving from the transportation layer. The header will provide the information for routing, for example, destination address, okay? So I mean, transportation layer send the packets to a networking layer, you might have a different outgoing link, okay? Now, a different outgoing link based on your routing protocol, you will send it to different outgoing link, okay? So that's the networking layer, okay? All right, so from the networking layer, the next thing is what we call another layer down is called data link layer, okay? Now, the data link layer is provide an error-free transmission for the packet across single link, okay? Now, the packet from there on now break down to frame. Remember at the previous class, we talked about different type of frame size. That's the frame, okay? The frame will determine starting and the end of the packets, okay? Also, you will do error detection, determine the packet that content in terms of transmission error, okay? Then you detect the transmission error, you try to do the error correction, okay? Now the error correction at the data link layer, usually simply what we to do is they not actually correct them. They detect, they correct them by tell the transmission to resend the packet or retransmit, okay? Using retransmission scheme or automatically repeat request or ARQ. Okay, that's at the data link layer. Now, from the data link layer, we have what we call the physical layer. Now, the physical layer is what we have been learned so before, right? It's responsible for transmission bytes over the wireless link. Okay, so in this layer, you will have to deal with propagational delay, for example, the time from one transmission to another. Okay, so we talked about propagation delay before, right? And we have a transmission error also to have to deal with in the physical link layer, okay, which including attenuation, noise, so on and so forth, channel error, right? Those you have to deal with at the physical link layer, okay? So each link layer has its own responsibility, okay? This is a quick overview of the 7-layer of OSI reference model. From this OSI 7 reference model, we have to compare that layer OSI model with TCP/IP protocol or internet sublayer. Now, the internet sublayer is a layer that sits between transportation and networking layer. If you want to send the data, especially from internet, which you require a different type of incompatible network that join together. For example, ATN, Ethernet to token ring. Okay, you have to travel the packet to a different type of network. Okay. So this sublayer sits between transportation and networking layer. It looks like it's kind of like used as a gateway to different network. Okay, so it's responsible for full routing and the flow control between each network. Okay, now in this internet sublayer, this layer is accomplished within internet protocol, or what we call is IP. Okay. TCP on top, TCP, IP on bottom, which IP is used in the network layer protocol, okay? Now, so therefore, if you compare the OSI model with the TCP IP model, this TCP IP model is quite similar to what? It's very similar to the previous one, 5th generation cellular network, right? So you have application layer, transportation layer, internet layer, or network layer, then the network interface layer, right? So that's quite similar actually to the 5th generation cellular network structure, okay? Now, to the TCP IP protocol layer versus on the right side, then you have different protocol, okay? That's why we talk about different type of protocol, FTP, SMTP, so on and so forth, TCP, UDP, okay? Those are TCP IP protocol, okay? Then on the networking layer, you have another IP layer. So TCP IP on top is application. So you have SMTP as a mail service, FTP for FTP application, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's on top of which in conjunction or sit next to it. Okay, so if you take a look on that, if you have for example FTP server, FTP client. So the FTP client talk to FTP server using FTP protocol. Okay, but actually the reality is the FTP layer, the application layer, will talk down to IP layer, TCP layer. Now the TCP layer focus on TCP protocol to another TCP end. Then TCP packets actually fall down to IP. Okay, then IP will goes to IP protocol. Now the IP protocol, because then later on we need to go down to the Ethernet. For example, if it's connected as an Ethernet or Wi-Fi, wireless Ethernet, then you have Ethernet driver. The Ethernet driver will allow you to connect to an Ethernet network. But the Ethernet network might connect you to different type of network called maybe a token ring or ATM. So in that case, your packet goes down to Ethernet, okay, as an Ethernet protocol, then connect to a router, for example, internet router. That router will go through Ethernet driver and look on your IP, still IP protocol, by looking on specific IP. That IP might be an IP for FTP server. By looking at IP, they know, okay, I'm going to send it to different lower link layer interface. So I'm going to send it from Ethernet driver to a token ring driver, to a token ring interface, to going to a token ring internet network. So your packet will transfer from Ethernet protocol to IP, then translate by router to a token ring protocol. So they will follow the token ring protocol, go to the FTP driver connect to token ring driver. Token ring driver then on top become IP packets. So IP packet is sent as the previous IP packet, then the TCP is sent as TCP, then FTP server make the FTP request and connect the data. Okay, so that's the interaction between the internet and the TCP IP network. Okay. 有没有任何问题 so far? Okay, 这个只是一个 recap， 你应该要知道 ，you should know when you're taking computer network 或者是 data communication. Okay. All right. So if you have any question, just ask. Okay. So this is your fundamental knowledge regarding computer network TCP/IP. Okay. And the next thing is because the packet travel from upper layer all the way down, so you will have a concept called encapsulation. Okay, because later on we're going to talk about encapsulation in mobile devices. Now, what is encapsulation? Is this encapsulation is at the top. If you have application, your application uses data. Okay, then from the user's data, you will at the application layer will get application header with your user's data, for example, email. That email will go to email browser with application header to the user's data, actually the email. From there on, move that down, you will have a TCP header going to TCP there. Okay, you have a TCP, which now they treat the application header with the user's data as application data. Now, this entire thing, okay, is what we call the TCP segment. Okay, so this entire packet is called TCP packet. From there on, that TCP header along with the application data will go down and add another IP header. So you will have IP header, TCP header, and the application data. This is what we call the encapsulation. Encapsulate 把一个一个包起来 okay, like wrap around. So at the end, at the physical layer, you go through an Ethernet, for example, you go to Ethernet network. That Ethernet network will have what? Change this IP datagram into with encapsulate with Ethernet header and Ethernet tail. This is what we call the entire Ethernet frame. Okay, that Ethernet frame will send it to Ethernet driver to Ethernet. Okay, so therefore, if in the previous one, okay, here was running as an Ethernet packets. Okay, but if it goes down here, go from Ethernet driver to a token ring, then on the bottom you will have what we call a token ring header and token ring tail. So if you're running this packet to a token ring, this will change into token ring header, token ring tail. So this entire now becomes a token ring frame. Okay, so it depends on what network that IP datagram will wrap or encapsulate to different type of header and tail 去把它包起来 to wrap around. Okay, so this is a concept of encapsulation. So your packet will actually travel in a encapsulated packet. But when the packet move back down, they will unwrap. So for example, from the physical layer to the data layer or to the networking layer or to the internet layer, okay, then we'll unwrap the IP, then we'll unwrap the TCP, and the application will unwrap application header, then the user's data will present in the user's application. Okay. All right, so then let's take a look on what we call the IP packets. Okay, so the IP packet has what we call the IP address and what we call the IP datagram. Okay, now the router now using IP address to do the routing. Okay, now IP. Okay, if you should know this when you take computer network, the IP will break down to different classes. So you have class A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. Now, A, B, C, D, and E will based on the packets, okay, headers information. Okay, so remember IP packets is at the here. Okay, so that could be IP, Ethernet, or Internet, or ATM to the physical, then go change them. Okay, so here the routing always done at the IP address. Okay, so the IP address will look something like this for different class. Now, for example, okay, NTNU, 四大 NTNU, the IP address will have a one class. Okay, so that will be class B for NTNU. Okay, NTNU's packet is 140. Okay, 140 will translate to what? To 11001100. Okay. For 1400, okay. .22 is for NTNU. So 140 actually is for academic in Taiwan. So academic in Taiwan always start with 140. 所有教育界都是开始的 IP address 都是140. From there on, the second second set of the IP address 112. The 112 is given for especially for NTNU, right? So if you see 140.112, that's always a data IP packet from NTNU 从师大来的。Then of course from Academia Sinica 中研院是109，台大是112，交大是113， so on and so forth， 成大 so on. So if you see any of those IP address at different, you already know where they from. Okay. So this is what the IP classification is for IP datagram. Now, so we say that the background cap you around regarding the IP. So now, because those IP are fixed, now when you moving around, okay, because you still on the 5th generation, you still based on the IP, okay. But when you moving around, how do you using the IP to do the routing? That's a big issue, right? Because now we have using IP to do the routing, right? So to mobile devices, we have a concept called mobile IPO. We introduced what we call a mobile IP concept, which enable the computer or devices connect to maintain the internet connectivity while moving from one internet attachment to another internet attachment. For example, if I move from my house to NTNU, for example, it's one IP address to one internet attachment to another internet attachment. Okay, so this what we're using is a mobile IP. So the mobile user's point attachment change dynamically, and all the connections should automatically maintain despite the connection change. Now, the normative concept is that user's internet connection is terminated at each time users move, and a new connection is initiated when the users dial back in. Okay? So then in that case, a temporary IP address should assign to that mobile devices, right? But you still need to maintain this connection. So how do you do that? Because now your IP is kind of changed, right? So So the operation of the mobile IP is this. Your mobile devices or mobile nodes is assigned to some particular network. Okay, this is what we call a home network. Okay, the IP address at the home network is static. Okay, it's fixed, it's static with some home address. Now, you will have a mobile device. Your mobile device can move from one network to another network. That network is called foreign network. You move into another network besides a home network is called foreign network. Okay. Then the mobile device will register itself with the network nodes on the foreign network to some foreign agent. Okay, that's your mobile device can register to a foreign network with some foreign agent. In fifth generation, okay, each mobile devices or mobile terminal will act as the foreign agent itself. So your device in the fifth generation is act as a foreign agent. Okay, the mobile nodes will give a care of address to the agent on the home network called home agent. Okay, so now this is what they try to do. Okay, so you have a mobile device at the home network, right? Your home has a home agent, right? The home agent will have a mobile device at IP address, okay, at this home agent, right? So in this example, you have a mobile device A, okay, have a IP address A, okay, which connect to your home network for A. Then you register yourself with the A's IP address at the home agent. Okay, so the next thing is when the mobile nodes move to a foreign agent. Now I move from home agent to a foreign agent. Okay, so the next thing what I try to do is this: if I'm at the foreign agent, right, I need to what? I need to connect to a foreign agent and register itself to a foreign agent. Okay, so the mobile nodes A now go to connect to a foreign agents, register yourself to a foreign agent. Okay, in the fifth generation, the mobile nodes A is the foreign agent. Right, so you do not need a registration. Okay, so this registration could be skipped. Then the next thing is the mobile nodes A will communicate with the home agent and notify A's careful address. Okay, it means mobile nodes A will what? Will talk to the foreign agent, say, hey, I'm a certain foreign agent. This is my care of address. This is my foreign address. Okay. Then the next thing is this: if I have a server or I have some services, for example, email services, okay, using A's IP datagram, okay, with A's home address was inside the IP header. They try to connect to A. Okay, this is the server will do. Okay, the home agent will encapsulate the datagram sent from server X with care of address outside. This is what the encapsulation we are learning the concept. 所以他把原本要寄给 A 的IP datagram 再包一层，这个包一层外面这个 header 是用 care of address of A， 这 care of address 就是 foreign address 在 A 在的地方。Okay, from there on, the foreign agent will use original IP datagram to deliver it to A. Okay, means that packets goes to home agent using care of address, tunneling, okay, or forwarding to a foreign agent to a foreign network to the mobile devices. So if for fifth generation, this mobile agent is the actually devices itself, okay, to connect to the mobile device A. Okay. Now, however, for device A, okay, or mobile device nodes A, you do not need to go to this what we call a tunnel, back to home agent and back to server X. Because what? We know server X IP address, so it's simply using nodes IP server X IP address to send the IP traffic directly across the internet to connect what? Server X. Okay, So if we move to another foreign network, you need to re-register yourself with home agent to give a newer KOF address. Okay, so that's the concept of mobile IP. Okay, so now, therefore, let's take a look at the capability of mobile IP. First, we have a discovery, register, and tunneling. Okay, discovery is when the mobile nodes use discovery procedure to identify home and foreign agents. Okay, the register is the mobile nodes used to authenticate registration. Tunneling to using forwarding IP datagram to find the home agent to KOF address. Now, first, what's the discovery? Okay, the discovery is when the mobile device is responsible for any ongoing discovering procedure, okay, or process. So it must terminate if right now I'm attaching to home network or the foreign network. So mobile device will detect if I connect that wireless AP or any network, am I in a foreign network or am I in a home network? Okay. Then transition from a home network to a foreign network can occur anytime without notification of the networking layer. So networking layer does not need to care. The only IP layer has to care about this. So the mobile nodes listen the foreign agent's advertising message compared to the network portion of the router's IP to check are they in foreign or are they in a home network based on the home address. Now, the agent at the foreign network will solicit it by issue agent advertising message periodically. Okay, if a mobile device needs an agent information, it can issue the ICMP routing solicitation message. Any agent receive this message will issue an agent advertising message. Okay, now remember we said the 5th generation cellular network, the mobile device are acting as its own foreign agent. So in that case, mobile device doesn't need to solicit it, and just make sure I connect to a foreign agent, a foreign network. I just make sure that I'm in a foreign network or the home network. If I'm in a foreign network, I will send the next thing, the move detection message. Okay. So if a node's moving from one network to another network due to some handoff or without some IP level being aware, the agent will discovery process will initiate again to detect if any move. So because mobile device add its own agent, they will detect just like it detect, I mean, home network or am I in a foreign network? Okay, so the detection algorithm is using some lifetime field, some periodic they will check. There's some timer, okay? And okay, also you can use in a network prefix to check if a new receive advertising message at the home network or at the same network, okay? So they can detect they are moving or not, okay? Now, with a co-located address, if a nodes move to another network that has no foreign agent, all the foreign agent is busy, it can add as its own foreign agent. So in the 5th generation, they are trying to do this. Sorry, in the 5th generation, sorry. So in the 5th generation, okay, the mobile nodes itself add its own foreign agent, okay, on 5th generation, right? Then the mobile agent using co-located KOF address means the address obtained by the mobile device associated with this mobile node's current interface, okay? Then inquire co-location address means the temporary IP address to an internet service such as DHCP, okay, which might also using its own mobile nodes as a long-term address for visiting a specific foreign network. Okay. So once I register, I discover. Once I discover, the next thing is I'm gonna register. Okay. So I discover I'm in a foreign network, okay, and I register myself to a foreign agent, or in 5th generation, I act as a foreign agent. The next thing I need to register myself to the home agent, okay? Now, the registration process is this, okay? Once I know I'm in a foreign network and I contact the foreign agent, then the mobile nodes need to send a registration request to the foreign agent, or which sends the forwarding request services. Okay, the foreign agent will relay this request to the home agent. If you a mobile device are foreign agent, you will just simply send the request to the home agent. The home agent will accept or deny the request that's sent by registration reply to the foreign agent or to the mobile devices. The foreign agent relay this reply to the mobile devices if there's a foreign agent in the foreign network. Means I'm sending the registration request to foreign agents. But if you are fifth generation, foreign agent and mobile devices are the same devices, so means they simply send the request to a home network, and home network has the registration reply back to the foreign agent or back to devices. Okay. Now, the registration process are this. Okay, the IP address, the mobile IP is supposed to be designed to resist any of attack. Okay, so the mobile device might pretend to be a foreign agent to divert the network packets. Okay, so agent will reply the old registration message by cut off the mobile nodes to network. But for fifth generation, you don't have to worry about, because that cannot happen because the mobile device adds its own foreign agents. Okay, so the next thing, the foreign agent, so the message authenticate and register request will reply contain the authentication extension. Okay, now that extension are this. There are three different types of extension. One is a mobile device to home, which provides authentication of the registration message between the mobile device and the home agent. This is must present in all cases. Okay. Then you have a mobile device to foreign agents. This may be presented for security reason. You want to have mobile device and foreign agent authenticate each other. For fifth generation, mobile device and foreign agents are the same devices. Then you will not have this problem or the next problem of foreign agents and the home agent, which present the security association between the foreign agent and home agent. But for fifth generation cellular network, foreign agent is mobile device itself. So the first one is already enough. Mobile device to home, okay, for authentication. So once you have registration, you discover you're the foreign network, you register yourself to a home agent with care of address. Then the next thing is to do tunneling. Okay, the tunneling is very simple. Okay, the tunneling is home agent. Every time I receive a message or packet, IP datagram that for the mobile devices, its home address. Okay, the home agent will inform other nodes in the network datagram for should be delivered to home agent. Then the datagram will be encapsulated with the care of address or foreign address. Okay, so the datagram will encapsulate it with the outer IP layer of the new IP or care of address or foreign IP address. Okay, so that way that packet will get forward by tunneling. Tunneling is the one that encapsulates with the outer IP and send it to a foreign agent or send it to a foreign network. From the foreign network, it forward to the mobile devices. Okay, and the mobile device will unwrap to get the original message from the IP datagram to the data itself. So the encapsulation for mobile IP are this. Okay, you will have IP within IP, means the entire IP datagram becomes a payload, and they wrap around with a new header with the original inner header inside unchanged. Okay, and you have outer header with the care of address of the IP. Okay, all right. That's IP within IP encapsulation. Another one is a minimal encapsulation, which new header is insert between the original IP header and the original IP payload. Means they get rid of the original IP by insert a new IP address, a new care of address into the IP datagram. Okay. The generic IP encapsulation are developed prior to the mobile IP. So we said the IP, the encapsulation routing, they are already done before even the mobile IP. Okay. Any questions on the mobile IP? So the mobile IP is very simple. Okay. So the mobile IP is quite simple. Is if you by taking a look on this scenario, okay, is is you have a home agent, okay, which you have home network with a home agent. The home address on the home network is a static, okay? And you have a foreign network. If you move to a foreign network, you will register yourself with a foreign agent. In the 5th generation, foreign agent are the mobile device itself, okay? Then you at the foreign network, you will have what we call a care of address, okay? At the foreign network, you need to contact the home agent by giving this care of address. Once you give this care of address, the nodes will then move into a foreign network. Okay? When the device, this one will register yourself to the home agent. Okay? When the device try to contact you, it will contact you with your original IP or home address. That home address then will get forward, okay, to the foreign agents. Okay, so it means your packet will connect to your home agent. Home agent will encapsulate, okay, or tunnel it to a foreign network, okay, to some foreign agent. In the 5th generation, that foreign agent is yourself. Okay, but when you reply, okay, when the device reply, it does not need to cut tunneling again. It just simply direct connect to a server because it knows the server X IP address. Okay. All right, so basically that's the concept of mobile IP. Okay, so mobile IP using a lot, okay, in 4th and 5th generation cellular network, okay, especially 5th generation cellular network. Now the old data are moving toward to network internet protocol. Okay, so it means every single device now has IPv6 IP address. Right, they will connect using the IP-based, packet-based network. Okay, so it means now they need to follow IP network data structure. However, the mobile device move from one location to another location, or you can say move one foreign network to another foreign network. So it means they need to change from one IP address to another IP address, but you need to stay connected. Okay. With different IP address. That's why the home agent and home network comes along to help to forward the packet to the foreign agent to a foreign network. Okay, all right， 有没有任何问题？有没有任何问题？
所以它的 home agent 通常是电信公司吗？
对，通常可能会是你的电信公司，或是你的那个4G provider。So therefore， 它会先 connect 到，譬如说你如果是中华电信，它会先 connect 到中华电信，然后看你 assign 的现在的这个，你最一开始 assign 给你这个 device 的 static IP 会是什么 ，static fix IPv6 IP 是什么？但是你 move 到，譬如说假设你 move 到 NTNU 的时候，对不对？那它就会，你 NTNU 它会给你一个 dynamic IP address 嘛，那这个时候你就必须要马上 contact 你的这个 home agent 去做这件事情，去 register 你自己。那我们刚刚说是 5th generation，5th generation 的是 5th generation，sorry， 我跳快一点点。在 5th generation 里面，在 5th generation 里面，每一个 mobile nodes will act as its own foreign agent， 所以表示你 move 到新的，比如假设是 NTNU。NTNU 没有一个专门的 foreign agent 专门去 handle 这个所有的这个 forwarding 这个 IP address， 所以这个时候你自己的 devices 就变成你一个 foreign agent， 然后试着 connect 到你的 home agent，OK， through home network，OK。
这是从5G 开始吗？还是4G？
其实从4G 就有了，只要是开始转换成 IP， 就慢慢就出现了。那其实这个mobile IP 这个 concept 其实非常早就有了，因为你必须想，你早期你的电脑还是会从一个 network move 到一个 network， 比如说你的 laptop 会从你的家里的wireless WiFi network move 到学校的 WiFi network， 但是你要怎么 maintain 这个 connection？OK， 那早期是有 foreign agent， 那你也不需要这么 dynamically 去做这些 reconnect 的动作。但是到后期，因为你是用 mobile devices， 像 cellular network， 你会 move 得非常的快，所以导致你 changing network quite frequently， 尤其是你在做 WiFi offload 的动作的时候，你会试着从 cellular network connect 到 WiFi network， 那你的 IP address 就是变成一个非常大的问题。
所以它的 foreign agent 跟之前的 base station 又是不一样的东西吗？
不是不一样的东西，
一样的东西？
不一样的东西啊。
对，
对，完全不一样的东西。对
不一
，foreign
样。
agent 它其实是一个 agent 试着要 contact 你的 home agent， 然后把你现在在 foreign 的 IP address 传给他。OK，that's it。foreign agent 其实做的大部分事情就是这样子。
然后说5G 开始就自己当 foreign agent， 所以自己
5G 开始就自己做 foreign agent 的，没错，因为他只需要做一次 registration 的动作啊，对，然后就把这个 IP address 去改它。所以你这个什么 agent soliciting 啊，这些都并不需要了，因为 agent soliciting 其实是蛮麻烦的，尤其是你在 foreign network 里面。那另外就是security issue，OK， 有一些东西我 skip 掉。security issue、authentication issue， 你的 foreign agent 是不是要跟mobile device 做 authenticate？foreign agent 跟 home 是不是又要做 authenticate？ 在这两个，OK， 其实这也是颇麻烦的，所以。在 fifth generation 的时候，他就觉得说 ，instead 我在每一个 foreign network 我还要 create 一个 foreign agent services， 所以表示在你的 foreign network 你一定要 create 一个 foreign agent 的 services 或者是 daemon 在那边跑着，对不对？那很多的 foreign network 它并不做这件事情啊，对不对？它并不 provide 这种 services， 它 provide simply allow you to connect internet， 像是师大的 NTNU 就一定没有一个 foreign agent， 对不对？所以 instead 你要 ask 每一个 wireless network 去做这件事情。后来在 fifth generation， 他就说我与其这样子做麻烦，我就让自己的 device act as a foreign agent， 然后做这些contact between 那个 foreign network 到home network 的 home agent。
我怎么知道师大没有 foreign agent？
因为你 foreign agent 就要有一个 foreign agent 的 services 啊。
它是一台伺服器吗？还是它是一个？
它不一定要是一个伺服器，它只是一个在伺服器上面有一个 option 去开而已。它就有点像是这个 routing protocol 里面你要用什么样的 routing protocol， 然后有哪一些 authentication requirement， 它只是一个选项，在很多的这个 router 上面做一个选项去打开。
所以我可以选择我要当 foreign 或者不当 foreign， 只负责把你的 packet 转到其他人那边而已。
对，所以你看它。但是问题是在这边啊，你看，假设你今天做了一个这个东西，对不对？它有一点像是some services are provided by the router，OK？那如果这个 router support mobile IP 的话，通常它就会把这个 foreign agent 的这个 service 打开，OK？但是就算这个 foreign agent service 打开的时候，你必须要让这个 foreign agent 去 contact 你的 home agent 的时候。这其实是蛮麻烦的，因为你可以想象，这个 service 是包在，譬如说，假设师大的这个 firewall 里面，对不对？所以你如果包在防火墙里面的时候，你要让一个 service 去 connect 到外面的 network through， 就是 bypass 防火墙，这其实是非常不安全的。
所以原本是我连到师大，然后师大有一层防火墙，我要跳出去连接到我的 home network 才能连接到我要到达的目的地。
Supposedly 应该会变成这个样子。
然后现在我不连到师大，我直接找到 home network， 然后再
先 connect 它，然后跟他讲说我现在是在师大的 IP address， 但是你的 packet 所有进来还是要经过师大的 firewall 嘛，对不对
？OK。
所以这是一些 security 的问题，所以大部分的 network 到最后都不破这个foreign agent 的这些东西。
就是跟他说位置的那一次，我可以不用走防火墙，然后这有什么优势？就差一次吗？还是说
这差很多啊？假设我今天让这个 service open 的话，就表示我的防火墙这有一个破。OK， 你知道我开一个 service， 我必须要开一个破，这个破有一个 daemon 在 listen 在这个 server 上面嘛，对不对？
例如 HTTP 这样子，
例如 HTTP 或者是例如DNS services 这些东西都是要看某个破的 services 嘛，对不对？所以 foreign agent 你可以把它想象成是一个 services。
它
这个 services 会开，对，一定要开一个破，你才可以再contact 到这个 foreign agent 嘛。那这个破就会是打开的哦。 就是表示它会
HTTP 也
bypass
会穿
firewall。
过防火墙，然后我现在要当 foreign agent 的时候，也要再开一个破，然后它也穿过防火墙。
一定会要穿过防火墙啊，不然我没有做这个防火墙的 authentication， 我的 home agent 怎么去跟你的 foreign agent 沟通呢？对不对？所以是这个的问题还蛮大的，所以到最后很多，当然你是可以 set 这个 authentication， 比如说防火墙也会有带特定，譬如说假设今天是中华电信，你知道这个 authenticate 的中华电信的 network， 我可以专门设一个 port， 然后这个 port 有一个requirement， 让你去 connect 到 firewall， 经过 firewall 再到这个 agent， 那也是可以的。但是这就变成这个 agent 只设，譬如说中华電信、遠傳、台灣大哥大，那你今天要是從美國來的嘞，你懂我的意思嗎？就變成這個 setting 其實就是 rely on network administrator， 但是並不是所有學校或所有這個機關，譬如說你家裡面，你知道你不會設定這個foreign agent 這件事情的話，那就變得非常麻煩。所以
它等于对某一些电信公司开白名单这样子。
对，它可以，你可以这样子讲，你可以这样子想，对。但是这样子会很麻烦啊，对不对？
挡到私下的人了。
对啊，而且你会想象，你会想，要是台湾大哥大突然有一天他改了这个 agent 的 service 的 protocol， 或者 IQI update 了这个 service 的 protocol， 那你是不是全部人都要做更改？这个变得非常非常的麻烦。所以 instead 这样子做的话，后来。尤其是 fifth generation cellular network， 它就不再有这个 foreign agent 的 concept， 它把 foreign agent 的这个 function 直接放到 mobile device 上面去。其实这样也是比较方便的做法，也是比较安全的做法，因为我就不需要再做 authentication between mobile device 跟 foreign agent 嘛，对不对？像这样的好处就是，你看我刚刚不是有讲另外一个问题，就是。假设我今天 create 在 foreign network create 一个 fake 假的 foreign agent， 然后 repeat send 这个 registration request 到 home agent 的话，接下来你的 data 就会被 home agent 转到一个不知道哪里的 foreign agent 去。你懂我意思吗？这 foreign agent 就会把你的把你这个 mobile device 完全 cut off， 表示你的所有的 packet 都被它剪掉了，从 network。它都绕到这个假的 foreign agent 里面去了，所以这其实是一个非常麻烦的事情。
我就是有人帮我谎报了我的地址，我现在所在地这样子。
对，所以就把你所有的，你可以把它想象，你现在所有收的信统都被你转到某一个地方去了，你再也收不到，譬如说台湾邮政来的信了。但是你又不知道，因为你并不知道有人送东西给你啊，对不对？因为所有的信都被转走了，对对对，有点像是这个概念，对，所以这样变得非常麻烦。与其这样子 rely on foreign agent， 它不如让 mobile device 自己做 foreign agent。OK，all right， 好，还有没有任何问题？
老师
是，请说。
就是我不知道为什么，就是 device 一定会有就是 home agent 的存在，就是对啊，为什么他如果没有加的人，他也有 home agent， 就是他的 device 上也有 home agent 吗？
没有加的人什么意思？
就是他就比如说是游民，那他有手机。可是那他
这个 home network 不是这个 home 的意思，这个 home network 就是你的游民有手机，你的手机你会注册在譬如中华电信嘛？
那如果是一台车呢？
一台车也会啊。
所
有的 device 都会要 connect to。
所以它的 home 是谁？就是 device 的 home 是谁啊？
哪个 device？
就是各个 device 的 home。各
个 device 会背上，当然不一定啊。你的 service provider 是谁就是谁。
就是谁好，就是 service provider。好的。
对。那 service provider 当然还会 break down to 不同的 home agent， 比如说台北啊、师大啊，它会背上一段时间，它会让你 register， 因为一个 home agent 也会有一定的 service 量嘛。
好。
对。
所以他会自己侦测嘛？例如我今天如果搬到澎湖住，然后他过个一段时间，
会过一段时间他会move发。把你过去，对。
那是谁负责侦测啊？
是network service provider，
哦
ISP provider 会做侦测。
，ISV 看你待在那边比较久，他就把你改过去的。
其实事实上是这样子，没错。
OK，
因为它会慢慢 migrate 你的 data 过去某一个 home agent 或某一个MTSO。
OK，
OK， 好，还有没有任何问题？OK， 没有问题的话，我其实跳掉蛮多东西的，因为我觉得，因为这学期真的还蛮紧凑的 ，OK， 所以 I skip couple slide， 但是有一些东西是比较 outdated 的，像是 wireless application protocol， 已经慢慢没有人在使用它了，所以我就直接把它 skip 掉。我觉得 you didn't miss much。那that's it，OK，so 这个图蛮有趣的 ，OK， this is the first generation of a radio telephone network, mobile radio telephone network， 大概是一台车子的大小，然后他用这台车子去送讯号 across Atlantic Ocean，OK， 那第一个 mobile telephone 是1924年 actually，OK， 所以我们看这个 devices 从1990年一直下来，越来越小，又变越来越大，越来越大，到现在这个 mobile devices bigger and bigger now again. Okay, so it's quite interesting the change between the mobile devices and evolution of a cellular network, cellular structure. So we don't know what the future will be. Okay, we don't know. It's very hard to predict, but definitely will be wireless. Okay, so if you're looking at the older technology in the current state, okay, the first wire to get cut off is the internet. Okay, it's a network. So network now become wireless. So the second wire to be cut off is the power. 所以现在都是用电子 power. Okay, the third one will be the future will be. We don't know, okay? Might be a device connection, might be something, okay? So in order to truly cut off from the device to device or connection to the connection, whether it's wire, wireless, whether it's power, so on and so forth. What I try to say is that in the future, each individual device must be standing alone, okay? Without any wire attached to it, okay? So that's the future where there will be. So the wireless connection, the wireless research, it's a very good area of research. You have to think about in the future, everything should be wirelessly connected. Okay, should be wirelessly power charged in the future. Right, so definitely wireless network or wireless research is a very good area to do so. Okay. All right, so we already see the evolution. Right? We see the 5th generation. Maybe next semester or next couple semesters later, I'm going to talk about 6th generation of cellular network, which is comes quite fast already. Okay, all right, that's it for today's. Right? Any question? 有没有任何问题？好，如果没有任何问题的话 ，again， 我们做一个 quick。夺门而出的 sign off，OK， 还没开始，等我一下 ，signing off。So you have 10 seconds to sign off，OK， starting 10。If you sign off 的话，你就 free to go，OK，unless you have any question, you can stay，OK。You're welcome，不客气。不客气。我给你们几个1的机会准备 cut off 咯。好，还有人没有签到的？ Okay. All right. All right, give you one more chance, okay? The cut off line here， 没关系，没关系。玉亨，你要专心一点 ，OK。好啊，不过我有把就是这几次线上授课的课我放在那个YouTube 上面，所以我把 all the recording on YouTube. So if you want to review or you have something not clear, okay, go on YouTube to take a look. OK， 好不好 ？OK。好，不客气。宇恒，你还好吗？好了，希望你那边教的课教的还可以吗？
哦，还可以啊，还蛮顺利的，已经快教完了，好像这礼拜就第9堂了。
Start recording first.